The kingdom is here. I know, Lion King. I guess that's a pretty interesting. I don't know. I know what's cool. What's going on? I hope you guys have an amazing day. We got the Kansas City Chiefs at number 7. Yeah, I know. This is probably way too low. I'll be honest. They more than likely end up at least making the conference championship. That's really what it is. So, however, look, hey, I still got the record. You'll see what the record is and everything like that. You never know. This team is really good. There are amazing coaches and a very good chance of winning a Super Bowl again. You got the offensive line here, which, of course, is the biggest question mark in a couple of areas. Now, with that being said, I am watching Josh Simmons. I'm talking myself into this roster a little bit more because he is amazing. He's as advertised. He looks really good. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think Josh Simmons is your left tackle of the future. I wouldn't even start Jalen Moore. I think Simmons is the starter. There's clear cut for me. And Jalen Moore gives you a good swing tackle. And who knows, Jawan Taylor, they may move on from him at some point. Don't be shocked. I guess they're going to probably just keep the depth because the amount of injuries that they had. They want to make sure that they have depth to be able to protect Patrick Mahomes. But that is something to really keep an eye out on, especially going into the future. They could get out of Jawan Taylor's contract after this season, and then Jalen Moore can end up sliding over a right tackle. So certainly an option for this football team. Wanya Morris still has not been able to develop, unfortunately. So as of right now, he's really more of the 4th tackle. On the interior of the offensive line, you got that left guard position, which is the other big question mark. And honestly, that's probably a bigger question mark for me than Josh Simmons. I feel like he's going to be a really good starter for them right away. He'll go through rookie struggles. Like every offensive line typically goes through rookie struggles. But I do think Kingsley Suamataia is my biggest concern on this offensive line right now. And he's still kind of looking up and down. In Cardinals, he's lost some big-time reps. He lost a one rep really bad. So Malik Caliendo gives him some good depth at that left guard position. I mean, Caliendo can also be a swing tackle in a pinch if they really needed him to be. And then at center, you got Creed Humphrey. We don't only talk about Creed. I rank him at number 1 in the NFL. The guard position at number 12. The tackles at 25. You got Trey Smith. That really holds up the guard ranking right there. Smith is a top 5 type of guard in the NFL. Now, depth-wise, you got Hunter Norzad. Did struggle in the Cardinals games. Going to have to get better on that. You can, play guard and whatnot, but I don't know. We'll see. So that's going to be something to watch out with Hunter Norzad. I want to see him get a little bit better as a swing offensive lineman. My guess is they keep at least 9 on the offensive line. So that would be Caliendo, Norzad, Morris, and Moore as your swing offensive lineman. And then CJ Henson, he definitely has a real chance to compete there, too, for a roster position. On to the wide receiving room here at number 18, and I think it's a room that has a lot of speed, and when you get Rajee Rice healthy again, this is a room that definitely can threaten a lot of defenses in many ways. Jason Brownlee is exactly the guy that I'm hoping that they can fill into that other extra, even though that's not something that Andy Reid uses a whole ton. If they need that sort of thing, I think Brownlee's really their best option at that. And you saw him make that little goal line fade throw by Patrick Mahomes catch, nice little reach out. And as a Jets fan, Brownlee, very good football player. I'm not saying he's a leader or anything, but he's a good football player, and to have as a 4th, 5th, 6th wide receiver, I really think that's a nice option. And at least in that specialty role that he can utilize, I think that would be really, really nice. Jalen Royals. I am a big Jalen Royals fan out of Utah. He is like Rajee Rice in many ways. So you could list him up in the slot. You can list him. I think he can play anywhere out there. Can play up in the Z sort of role, no problem. He's got really, really good athleticism on the move. His yak ability is extremely tough. So, and he's a better, the route running was just limited. At Utah State, they basically asked him to do either seam streaks, hitches, or drags. That's a screens. That's all he ran. So the route tree was really his biggest knock for me when I did the scouting report on him. Ultimately, though, the guy has got all the traits, and I think he's got the loose athleticism to be a good route runner. That's just something a little bit unknown. So we're going to have to see that work ethic. And then Nico Remigio is their best return man. I hope he makes the roster, but there'll be competition. And you got Juju Smith-Schuster as the veteran here as well. And my guess is they end up keeping 6. You never know. Maybe they keep 7 and whatnot, especially with the injuries that they've had. Tyquan Thornton, another real chance to make the roster here, too. I thought he looks pretty good. Elijah Badger is a guy I kind of had a bit of a draft crush on, so we'll see about him. He may end up getting more of a practice squad candidate. Sky Moore, I do think is going to get cut. I really do. Any which way, the receiving room, I think is really good. Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Rajee Rice. All those 3 guys on the roster, it's a pretty good room. And I think they're going to be a dynamic offense this year. I don't see why they can't be a pretty dynamic room. On to the tight end room, you got Travis Kelce, and I still rank this room at number 4. And you got Noah Gray, who's a really good tight end. I feel like Noah Gray's underrated in the NFL in general. Really good player, man. He can block. He absolutely, he's improved so much from his Duke days in terms of his blocking skills. That's a little bit of an underrated thing with Noah Gray, but he, I'm not saying he's an elite blocker, right? I don't think he's as good as maybe a Jared Wiley or anything like that. But I think Noah Gray is better, and he's gotten better at that. And his receiving ability, he can run routes. So that's another thing. He can get open. He can create some space for himself. I really do like Noah Gray as the future tight end. You got Jared Wiley in the wings to be able to develop. Robert Tonyan could be he'll be competing with like Jake Brainstorm. I could see Brainstorm being a practice squad candidate, so watch out for that. Or maybe they go with the youth there with Brainstorm. It's just going to kind of come down to what they want, a little more experience there with Tonyan, or do they go with the youth route and Jake Brainstorm as the fourth tight end in the room. On into the running back room here, you got Isaiah Pacheco, one of the toughest runners in the NFL, and you got Kareem Hunt back in town. Elijah Mitchell is going to be a really good backup for them as long as he can stay healthy. He's a good running back. That's been his biggest Achilles heel. Brashad Smith as the receiving back. He's going to need some time to develop. Like, he looks like he's going to be need maybe half the year. You're probably not going to see a whole ton of Brashad Smith early in the season. My guess he's going to be more of a back half of the second year type of guy to maybe he starts getting more of a role, more rotes and stuff, especially if you have injuries and whatnot. But it's not a room that's like insanely impressive, but it's going to get the job done, right? Isaiah Pacheco, if he's healthy, he's going to do a good job. And Kareem Hunt's still solid. And Elijah Mitchell, once again, just got to stay healthy there. So there's and Carson Steele could end up making the roster. He's going to be in competition there. But I think he could definitely be a practice squad candidate that gets called up for injuries. Quarterback-wise, do we need to talk about it? It's the great Mahomes, is Tony Romo, I guess it'd say, right? Or Chris Collinsworth, right? That was a little Mahomey out there. Gardner Minshew is clearly the backup here. You got Bailey Zappi. I think they'll keep Chris Oladokun over Zappi at this point. So Oladokun gives you some nice scrambling ability too. So to me makes sense as a practice squad candidate. And then Minshew is just the backup to carry two quarterbacks. Defensively wise, the defensive line, the edge room, still question marks for me. Getting Charles Omenihu back, he's another one of those kind of underrated cats in the NFL. Every time Charles Omenihu is out there on the football field, which I know has been limited, he's a good football player. He is a impactful pass rusher. So I hope that he is fully healthy this season and will make a big impact for this football team. You got Mike Dana, Felix Anudike-Uzomah did come along at the end of the season there. So that's good to see. I'm high on guys like Ashton Gelati. I like him a lot from Louisville. He's a guy that I could see being an impact right away in this season, and especially as you get into the second half of the year. Malik Herring. Janarius Robinson had a good game versus the Falcons, so I got to give him that. I may want to move up his ranking a little bit there. So he's trying to make a roster spot as well. I think he's definitely a practice squad candidate, though, for this football team. Obviously, got Big George Karlaftis to be their top-tier edge rusher here. On the interior, I rank him at number 9. It's Chris Jones. He kind of leads the way here. It just comes down to who's going to be that number 2. And they've been looking for that for quite a bit of time now. It's like, who's going to be that second guy next to Chris Jones? Mike Pennell, he has been very rock solid. Is he like a top-tier interior defense? Like, no. But he's steady Eddie. He gets the job done. He is exactly a Spags sort of dude, right? You got Jerry Tillery coming in as a situational pass rusher. Omar Norman Lott. He figures, he looks a little bit bigger out there, I will say, than when he did at Tennessee. So he's I think, put on some muscle mass out there, which is good to see. Fabian Levette, I like him to have a real chance to make the roster. Marley Tupelotu, if they want to go more of an experience route, has a real chance. But Fabian Levette, that dude's got big, monstrous hands. That guy, I'm telling you, and he's got long arms. So he could be another good run defender for this football team in a situational role. On to the linebacking core, which is top 5. It's a 4th for me, and it's very, very good. They're deep, and they've got stars. They got Nick Bolton. You got Drew Tranquill. You got Leo Chanel, one of the best, Sam linebacker. Arguably, he is one of those guys that's the best linebacker on the line of scrimmage in the NFL. You could make the argument of that. He is so good in that role. His define and run defense is phenomenal. It just comes down to his coverage limitations, right? He's not a guy that you really want to be covering a whole ton of players, so his role is a little specialized, and that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have a player that does something elite at something and maybe struggles at something else. You see what I'm saying? Than have just a person that's okay in both assets. It depends on your scheme and all those sort of things, but Chanel, Tranquill, and Bolton, really good group. You got Cam Jones, Jack Conklin, and Jeffrey Besa figures to be the main backup. You're going to have some competition. My guess is Besa, of course, will make the roster as a rookie. And then you might have some competition. They only keep 5 guys between Jones and Conklin, depending on what they want to do there. Or even Christensen, don't rule him out either. And then some practice squad candidates there, maybe with George and McDonald. On to the cornerback room. I rank it at number 9. It's a really good room. You bring in Christian Fulton this year. Fulton was good, especially at the beginning of the season last year for the Chargers. Did get a little banged up last year, but ultimately Fulton is a nice addition for this football team, and they've got good depth as well. Joshua Williams, you got Noah Williams, who's not just a special teamer, man. He's going to be able to make an impact early in this cornerback room. He's got some dog in him too in the run game, absolutely, and not you can definitely cover as well. So I think Noah Williams looks like a really good pick for them. You got Chamari Connor, who could play safety, play corner. I list him at both. Same thing with Christian. Roland Wallace can play both. He was playing safety versus the Cardinals a lot and made a nice play, made an interception. So, hey, he's a guy that he adds more depth, right? I mean, they're looking pretty good. This cornerback room, I can make the argument after seeing preseason so far, I would probably even consider moving this room up. Jalen Watson, I didn't even talk about him, or Trent McDuffie, of course, they're star corners out there. They're really good. This cornerback room, I think I will move up after seeing what I've seen in preseason and whatnot. And going on to the safety room, I rate it at 21. Once again, they're pretty solid with their depth. You got Mike Edwards, solid leadership there. Deion Bush going to be competing for a roster spot. Christian Roland Wallace, I just mentioned, the cornerback safety position gives them versatility. Jaden Hicks, I'm still freaking jealous. They jumped in front of the Jets. I wanted Jaden Higgins, and I think that's who the Jets wanted as well. But what it is, what it is. It's your guys' gain, and I'm happy. You got Brian Cook as well as a solid starter. But I do think Hicks could end up being a star or even take the next step into a superstar player after this season. Watch out for him. So safety room, I'm not worried about. Even though it's 21, it just comes down to some youth and whatnot. And then we go on to the coaching staff. I'm ranking at number 1. I mean, you know what I mean? It's hard to argue with that. I mean, you got Andy Reid, you got Spags. Those two guys alone right there, Matt Nagy as the OC. It's a great coaching staff. It's the best in the NFL. I don't even have any problem saying it's the best. It's the best. But my record prediction, I got them going 13-4. So this is a case of, I think Mahomes is going to have an insane season. If you're in fantasy, you see Mahomes, he might be dropping a little bit because of last season or whatnot. Go get Mahomes. Do what you need to do. He's going to be a beast this year. Ultimately, I try to make things interesting too. It's a championship roster still. Absolutely. They still have every chance, and they probably will be right there once again. It just comes down to maybe changing things up a little bit. You never know. Maybe they have a little bit of Super Bowl hangover, possibly. I doubt it. I really doubt it. Not with this coaching staff. So this is my ranking, 13-4. A very, very good football team that will be right there at the end of the season, I'm sure.